The Primaris Lightning Strike Fighter. A relatively recent addition to the armories of the Great Crusade, the Primaris Lightning Strike Fighter is a high-speed, suborbital fighter craft designed for high-speed interception, interdiction, and surgical strike rolls. Created by the Archmagos Arbeiter Psychosk Thule, master of the sovereign forge world of Voss, the Primaris Lightning represented a new paradigm in aero warcraft, being built around a powerful forced plasma ramjet drive and optimized for the most sophisticated munitions and avionics systems available. While exceeding all similar patterns in service of its size, for speed and payload capacity, it was extremely costly to produce, proved difficult to maintain, and difficult to handle by all but the most experienced pilots. Flaws Psychosk attributed purely to the failure of the weak flesh. These factors, however, saw the pattern's issue limited to the elite close support units of the most well-resourced legions and the Mechanicum itself. And while a degraded, if more easy to operate and maintain version of the Lightning was rumoured to be under construction just prior to the outbreak of the Horus Heresy, this reduced pattern played no part in the conflict. The Legion Javelin Attack Speeder. Javelin attack speeders share many of the advanced systems found in the jetbikes of the Legion's Astartes Skyhunter strike squadrons, and as such are both rare and highly valued. Utilising a range of anti-grav impeller technologies so esoteric that some amongst the Mechanicum regard them with overt distrust. Javelin attack speeders are time-consuming to construct and difficult to repair should they sustain battle damage. Nevertheless, they are fast, highly manoeuvrable, have an extended operational range, and perhaps most importantly, are able to carry a heavy payload of weapon systems. All of these characteristics ensure that these rare attack vehicles remain in high demand amongst the Legion's Astartes, as well as other elite formations, such as the Legio Custodes and the Sisters of Silence. The XIPHON Pattern Interceptor. The XIPHON Interceptor is a Legion's Astartes void atmospheric combat craft with an ancient lineage. Its origins are long lost, but it shares many of its component STC patterns with craft as diverse as the Ambut Voyager and the Thunderbolt Fighter. While unique variations have been encountered on lost human colonies or in the hands of nomadic corsairs, the Legion's Astartes XIPHON was modified from that of the Paramadandrith Enclave, brought into compliance in 806 M30, and produced at Celestrix until its annihilation in 914 M30. While the Enclave had used Saiga-augmented pilots to withstand the extreme stresses generated by the Interceptor's performance, it was found that Space Marines could successfully operate the craft without harm, although this limitation prevented the XIPHON from use within the wider Imperial fleet. Though potent and heavily armed, the XIPHON was complex, had limited operational range compared to the larger Wrath, as well as being ill-favoured by the Mechanicum. By the time of the late Great Crusade, it had all but fallen out of frontline service, except within the Ultramarines and Dark Angels legions. The shockwaves of the Horus Heresy, however, was to see many legions press their reserves of the XIPHON back into battle. The Legion JETBIKE Skyhunter Squadron. Skyhunters are feared strike units, which use sophisticated and powerful jet bikes as mounts. These grav-impeller-assisted, jet-engined propelled craft are more akin to compact aircraft than ground bikes, and are able to maintain great speeds for extended periods of low-altitude flight. Their lift strength is sufficient not only to carry a heavily armoured Space Marine and his war gear aloft, but also carry a variety of heavy weapons mounts and stocks of ammunition, giving the Skyhunters extremely potent firepower. The jetbike patterns in service with the Space Marine legions are modifications of designs which considerably predate the Imperium, and given the materials required to make and maintain them, such as the iridium calcite alloys needed to fabricate the hyper-efficient suspensor repulsor plates required for flight, demand for them by the legions has always outstripped supply. The Legion Storm Eagle Assault Gunship. The Storm Eagle Assault Gunship is one of the most numerous designs found in a Space Marine Legion air fleet. A dedicated tactical strike unit, its primary roles are orbital assault deployment of Legion infantry forces and low-level ground attack. The Storm Eagle is a rugged and durable machine, very heavily armed for its size and considerably protected by armour plating. Although it lacks the speed and manoeuvrability of true fighters and bombers, in operational use it proved itself an extremely flexible vehicle, serving capably as a long-range transport, orbital shuttle, scout and interceptor when called upon to do so, in addition to its main battlefield roles. First constructed on Terra over the course of the Great Crusade, principal manufacturing of the Storm Eagle shifted to the forge worlds of Anvilus, Galatea and Tigris, whose vast output was sufficient to provide all of the Space Marine legions and the Custodian Guard with extensive squadrons of these well-regarded and adaptable craft.